session. Okay. So we're super excited to be here with Genka, and as you probably noticed, we are going to speak about video games today, and more importantly, how Agile as a mindset has changed the landscape of the video game industry throughout the past 10 years. And more importantly, we will speak about a very particular success story. This video that you've seen, it's about our latest hit. This is Speedstorm and how this game is being developed here at Gameloft Sofia. So, we already got the intro. I'm Dimo, I'm a VP Live Games, I'm working on these amazing games right now at Gameloft. And aside from this, I'm a gamer, obviously, and I do have a small 50,000 subscribers channel streaming games. Now, I'm going to present our amazing colleague, Genka.
Thank you, Dimo. Good afternoon, everyone. We are happy to be here, sharing about how we conducted the transformation in our studio. So I'm Agile Change Manager, and I'm leading the transformation in Sofia Gameloft studio. But it goes out of the borders of our studio. We are also working with other studios of ours, like Gameloft in Barcelona, Lviv, and also Southeast Asia. So we are putting all these efforts to extend and implement the Agile principles there as well. And in this task, very challenging, I count on my personal experience with Lean Six Sigma and my knowledge as a professional Scrum Master. So I'm giving the word back to Dimo to share with you some interesting insights about the industry in general.
Thank you very much, Genka. Before going to the insights, I'm going to speak about players, or also called as gamers. I want to ask you, raise your hand if you consider yourself a gamer. Oh, quite a few. And now, this will be the last raising hand. Raise your hand if you have at least one game on your mobile phone. It could be Candy Crush, it could be, yeah, okay. So nowadays, half of the population on the earth are gamers. We have more than close to 3.5 billion people playing games. Majority of them on mobile phones, of course, but if you take a look at the landscape, we have gamers across the whole planet. In Europe, we are close to 500 million. So essentially, most of the people you meet on the streets, they're gamers. You know about the gamers? Well, let's speak a bit about money. So it has been the growth of the industry through the past decade. It used to be close to 50 billion net revenue back in 2012, and nowadays we are reaching the mark of 200 billion net yearly revenue, meaning a compound annual growth rate of 9.3%. Of course, this doesn't mean anything if it's out of context, and we just give you this context. So, everyone listens to music. You either have Spotify or YouTube, and music industry, it used to be close to the size of gaming industry a decade ago, but nowadays you see it's just way below. And to make it even more fair, because we are comparing the entertainment markets here, we have the movie industry, which had a bad decade. We are not going to lie about this. And both music and movies industry combined are making less money nowadays than the gaming one. And getting back to Genka, who's going to start our story about breaking the silos and implementing Agile in the video games.
So yeah, when we started our transformation back in 2022, we knew that we cannot build something new, we cannot change if we don't get rid of the legacy. So we first had to break several walls, and today we will explain briefly to you how we did this for the silos wall, for the wall of the Scrum process, which we also hit, and for the last one, the product mindset. This is going to be our agenda for today. So starting with the silos, in the beginning of the transformation, we were in a situation where the silo was really strong. We had designers, art developers, QAs, monetization, everyone running in their own lane. Designers writing hundreds of pages of design documentation, artists doing sketches, artwork, totally asynchronous, developers waiting for the design documentation and wait for the final design documentation. And then when they receive this final documentation, it starts the back and forth, because these hundreds of pages of design may change, or it can even be scrapped. And at the end, QA is being pushed to the limit, because they may end up with test cases for a month, but they only have 1 week. So with this situation, we had somewhere there on the horizon a game which emerges. And what we did actually is that we put this game in the center. We needed this solid center where we wanted all the profiles to gravitate around, and not only, but also to make them communicate with each other and work very specifically focused on the game, because the developer, they don't have only the goal to write the code. They need to create this great game. Designer, it is not only the design documentation, it is again the great game at the end. So this was our ambition, and when we imposed this, what we faced? We faced the wall. And in the beginning of the transformation, some really interesting quotations appeared, and we made merch out of it. Because what could be more powerful than making fun of ourselves? So we did. And we realized that actually we have like 200 personal backlogs, but close to zero understanding about the backlog of the game. And when we ask what's going on with the backlog, well, my backlog is clear to me. For the backlog of the artists, ask the artists. Another case, you know, we wanted them to communicate. We wanted them to be part of a Scrum team, but then another problem. I will be alone in this daily. Alone here means I will be the only developer, the only designer, and this was the problem, that people thought that they will be separated and that they will not be able to share know-how, which is absolutely not true. So facing this, we were even more convinced that we need the change, and we pushed for reorganization of the teams. In the beginning, we had a big team of like 50 people working for the same game, and we introduced the following structure. So within this team, we separated a core team responsible for the strategy of the game. Another team called product team, where we have all the marketing, all the monetization, and they are responsible for the health of the game on the daily basis. And this team is working on Kanban because of the nature of their work. And here comes the Scrum. Our feature teams in the Gameloft words actually mean Scrum teams, because they are small, they are cross-functional, autonomous, and they have all the necessary profiles to create the game. This is the organization at the moment. This is what we came to after a lot of iterations. This is not the first try. We did several before that, but at the moment this is our case. And imposing the new structure, we faced the second wall. How the process would be perceived. Our colleagues just naturally started to map it with something which they already did. So we are asking them to make dailies, but we are making a status point anyway. So why you are asking us to meet every day and lose these 15 minutes? We are making post-mortem after we release a feature. Why are we doing it retro? Mapping and mapping and mapping a lot to what was before. And of course, the biggest complaint, I believe that, because I see your reaction, so I believe you already encountered it. Too many meetings. It is losing time. This wall was also not that easy to break. And big thank you to Agile Pool, actually, because they helped us to build the foundation of all this. We started with them, and then already on our own we continued the work in different directions, starting first with internal educational sessions, because we received a lot of questions. What's the point for this? What's the point for that? And we said, okay, so we need to educate internally, and not simply giving the theory, because theory everyone can read in the numerous sources in the internet. So we try to customize it, not only from the industry, but also from our studio, from our games. People were really convinced when they hear the examples which really speak to them, which correspond directly to their pains and needs. So this is our effort, which we continue to do. This is an initiative which is already ongoing, and it continues. Another thing was forming the group of Agile champions and extended it further to Agile ambassadors. Champions were the very first people to adopt Agile, so we are not the best one in Agile, but we are open-minded and we are prone to test, to try, to experiment, and to get the learnings. And then we saw within the teams that it starts to appear and to flourish, and some people are starting to be also interested and eager to try, and these are our ambassadors, leading by example. And at the end, the meetings. What do we do with too many meetings? It appeared that this is not simply a complaint. We dig deeper in this statement during our retros, and actually we realized that the problem is that the day is too fragmented by meetings, and people actually don't have enough time to concentrate on their expert work. And what we did with the schedule is that we stacked the events. If they have a daily in the morning, then right after the daily they have the review, for example. And we tried to take the meetings, all the meetings before lunch, so that in the afternoon they have enough time to concentrate on what they have to do on their programming work, design work, artwork, or whatever they have. And the third wall, for which I will give the word back to Dimo, tell you more about the story.
Thank you very much, Genka. And the third one we've made is I'm not a business person. We're trying to explain why we're doing these changes. But then, how do we measure the results? And results usually in the gaming industry are measured by a number of KPIs and a number of performance indicators. So our challenge was to go from working solely on your tasks to bring you into a state of product mindset where you are working on a game as a single product. All of your combined work is focused on making this product better and better. So just as a definition, in the gaming, product mindset is the ability to identify what your game needs in order to achieve its ultimate goal. It doesn't matter what is your goal. To get out on the market, or to be successful, or to make €1 billion this year, which is usually a very common goal. And here we need, actually, one thing to forget. We were discussing this with our coaches at that time, and here's Bugoj, so I would ask you to stand out and just shout out for Bugoj, first for organizing this event, and then for bringing us all the way from... getting back to a problem mindset. Gaming industry is a very creative one, and people that are coming to this industry having the best idea of making a game. And usually we get the creative thinking, we get the idea, and then somehow teams are trying to map it with the business metrics. What product mindset says is these two, they should be reversed. You need to have a very clear idea what are your business metrics, what are the metrics you need to catch and to meet, and then how you would resolve this by your creative ideas. And this is the last theoretical slide, I promise. When it comes to the video games industry, there are 4 directions. First one is retention. So retention, do you know what retention is? Of course you don't. Oh, some of you do, but that's not your job. And it's my job to explain it, not just to you, but to all the teams and why it is important. So retention is the percentage of players who downloaded the game and get back to it on the next day. Then we have engagement, which is related to the time players spent in the game. And then we have the business ones. Conversion, the percentage of players who are making a purchase, and monetization of how much they spend. And all of these, again, don't need to memorize it. All of these pillars, they are connected through various game design techniques and mechanics, which go from one metric to another. And well, why is product mindset important? First of all, it allows us to make financially successful games or financially successful products. That's crucial because when you are having a financially successful game or a product, you usually get the freedom to shape your product and evolve it in a way you want. So it's one thing to go to the CEO, to stakeholders of your company with a barely profitable surviving game and say, I have this crazy idea and you're going to be shut down. Like, it happens a lot. When you have a game that is financially successful, that makes a lot of money, usually you have the same crazy idea, like, and they say, okay, this is crazy. But down the line, they see the results and it's okay, these guys know their shit. So do it, whatever, we're going to see how it goes. And finally, last but not least, it actually unites the team around the game's success stories. And speaking of success story, I promised you that I'm going to tell you the story of Disney Speedstorm and how a Disney game made it all the way from LA, California to Sofia, Bulgaria, and it's now being developed by our Gameloft team here. So when we were pitching our ideas of what should be changed, how this game should evolve, we started with 3 very theoretical pillars. Again, we focus on the retention. This is day 1. How many players are coming back on the next day in the game when they start? What is the percentage? Then, of course, we got the engagement, how fun this game is, how much time they spend, and finally, we have to prove them that we're going to make money out of it. And then we had to explain this to our teams, what it means for them. So instantly we got crazy ideas, but down the line we united around this. Instant fun, instant gameplay, simplified onboarding. So you get in the game, you have this play button which was already pressed, and boom, you're in the action. Hey, and we have music right now. There is amazing soundtrack for this game. Then you start the action, you're in the game. We're moving to the second pillar. Second pillar was engagement, and it's all about, when it comes to live games, it's all about your goals. You win your race, what do you get? So, we wanted to illustrate very clearly what is your next goal, how it feels. You get these beautiful capsules, and boom, you have your new racer. With this new racer, you go into the game, you press this yellow button, and you're back in the action. So it's a constant interaction of playing the game, getting rewards, playing the game, and getting back tomorrow to do more of the same, and it should evolve. And finally, well, we had money out of it. So we made a series of researches, but when it comes to this game, it's all about the powerful Disney franchises. So we started working on Disney Speedstorm since season 6. There has been a different team working prior to this. And we made this roadmap for the whole years. Every 2 months we have a completely new universe and new characters in the game. So started with Little Mermaid, Inside Out paired with the movie Inside Out 2, which has been a huge success. Pirates of the Caribbean, now we're going to have Nightmare Before Christmas and Incredibles. And this would go on and go on. We already have the roadmap for the next year, but these characters are what makes the financial sustainability of the game possible. Players are crazy to buy your favorite characters if you give them the right incentive. So, wrapping it up, how to develop a product mindset in a team. It all starts from the organization. There has been some great people speaking on this stage, and all they talk is organization. For us, it is the access to business data. We want all our employees to understand exactly what is the role of the. So we show the financial results of the organization of Gameloft once per month, and you see, oh, that's my game, and it's responsible for 6% or for 10% of the money. Yeah, very important. We're on these CEO slides or CFO slides in our case. Then next step is downline to the team. Share your game metrics or your product metrics with everyone. Make them understand, make it as a habit, why these metrics are important. Then it's way more easier when you get to the design level, designing a feature to understand oops, okay, my microphone is back again. How your feature or your design is going to impact the whole picture. How it's going to change the game, how it's going to change the organization. And there are a lot of HRs here, especially ours. We get to the people, we get to the employees. Employees' objective should always be, to some extent, based on the product needs. No matter if you are an artist, if you are a QA, not a business person, still, when you know what is the impact of your work over the performance of the whole game, you know it matters. And last point, encourage people to do market research. There is always someone on the market who is trying to do the best product out there. And if you catch them early, you can get the best for it and make your product even better, iteratively with every single sprint. With that being said, thank you very much. Join the game. This is all for us. And don't forget to give your feedback, use this QR code. Thank you.
Thank you very much.